Execution. We would love to have had someone speak for the defense team. However, defense attorney Stephen Feldman, who stopped briefly before the cameras outside the courthouse, announced that out of respect for the decision, he would not make any statements. Here's how the decision came down from the jury foreman.
Forms are properly executed. Please recite the verdict for the record.
The people of the state of California plaintiff versus David Allen Westerfield defendant, case number STD 165805. The verdict. We, the jury in the above entitled cause, determine that the penalty shall be death.
Jeff Dushek, what happened this morning where the jury came back and they were in a penalty phase and then said they didn't have a decision or couldn't reach a decision, suddenly a quick decision?
It was an up and down day when we got down there in court. We showed up shortly after lunch, fully expecting it to be a hung jury. As we were waiting in the hallway, we received word that they'd given a second note that they wanted to continue deliberations, and it seemed like within 5 or 10 minutes of receiving that second note, we got a third note that told us that they had reached a verdict. Then we gathered for that.
Woody Clark, in a penalty phase, if it's a hung jury, doesn't that mean life imprisonment?
Actually, in California, Larry, if a jury is unable to reach a verdict during the penalty phase, then the case is set for retrial of the issue of penalty only. There can be decisions made in the interim period, such as if the jury was heavily leaning towards life with imprisonment, for example. Sometimes an elected district attorney may decide not to retry the penalty, but that option is available.
Jeff, the decision to send someone to his death as a prosecutor must have been a difficult one to make. Why did you make it?
It is the toughest decision we have to make. We assume it with great reluctance. In this case, it was, in my mind, the only decision that we could seek in this case. There can be no other penalty for someone going into a family's home, taking a 7-year-old child out of that home, and ultimately killing her. There's just no crime worse than that in my mind.
Woody, at any point in this, did you entertain any doubts that he was, in fact, the correct suspect?
No, none at all, Larry. This is a case that, fortunately, through the heroic efforts of crime laboratory personnel working weekends and nights over a very short period of time, since this crime just occurred last February, all of the forensic tools that, frankly, laboratories have available were used in this case, from DNA through fingerprints to fiber evidence. And I think that combination of forensic results that jurors now rightfully expect were available in this case and pointed in one direction only, and that was to Mr. Westerfield.
Jeff, during the penalty phase, did any of the testimony for the defense bring you doubt about whether he should die?
No, not at all. We expected what the defense was going to produce. We knew a little bit about his background and his educational and employment background, and we certainly assumed that he had family and friends who would stick up for him. There was no doubt in my mind that the aggravating nature of this crime deserved the death penalty, regardless of what he had done in the rest part of his life.
The reason I've asked about being sure, Woody, is we know there have been many cases now in America where people put away and looked open and shut, and we have found through later DNA that they didn't do it. And it would be horrible if you found out they didn't do it after you've executed someone.
Well, that's absolutely true, Larry. Fortunately, these tools are now being used at the front side at the beginning of criminal prosecutions. That gives us those additional layers of certainty that frankly weren't available in the 1980s, 1970s, and older cases.
Jeff, the judge could overrule a death penalty, could he not?
That's his option. Here in California, the judge will look at the ultimate verdict that was received today and make his own decision at our sentencing hearing November 22nd. He will look at all of the evidence and make a determination of whether or not he feels the death penalty is appropriate.
Woody, is there any aspect of the expected appeal by the defense that concerns you?
I don't think so, Larry. This was a case tried on the evidence that pointed towards guilt and the evidence that in the defense's mind pointed toward the absence of guilt. But I think this was a case really that was based on facts as opposed to cases with complicated legal rulings. So while all death penalty cases, like most serious cases, are appealed, I think we're pretty confident that the court in this case, the judge, made rulings that were perfectly consistent with the law and the facts in this case.
Jeff, did you have some doubts since they were out so long initially with the guilty verdict and then out long again with the penalty verdict that you would get the death penalty?
We're always concerned. If they take longer than 10 minutes, I start to worry. Certainly when they were out for as long as they were in the guilt penalty, the guilt phase, we had our concerns, but with speaking with the jurors, it sounds like they were just looking at all of the evidence, and in fact they told us that they weren't even close to being hung. In the guilt part, here in the penalty phase, we had some downtime here while one of our jurors was sick, and really they only had about 3 days of deliberation, and we were comfortable with the attention they were paying to this case.
Woody, would you call it, I know you've tried a lot of cases, was this as hard a working jury as you've come across?
I think they were an extraordinarily hard-working jury. We know from talking to them today that they were methodically reviewing all of the evidence at the guilt phase during that portion of the case, and that by going through the major areas of evidence, literally discussing them piece by piece, I think their hard work was exemplary, and I think is really a credit to all of the jurors who sat in on this case, including the alternate jurors who didn't have the opportunity to take part in the deliberations.
Thank you both very much. Jeff Dushek and Woody Clark, successful prosecutors in both the guilt or innocence phase and in the penalty phase as well. The judge will be the final determiner, and that is in November, and our panel will assemble right after this.
Oh, Ned, it's Mom. Please come out.
I don't want to. You got a home loan from Ditech.com.
Well, if your bank had been on the ball, I might have given you more consideration.
Need cash to consolidate bills? Apply now for a second mortgage from Ditech.com.
By the way, your Uncle Willie called. He's tired of waiting, so he's calling Ditech.com.
You're not going to call Ditech, are you?
Ditech.com. Call 1-800-71-FIXED.
Someone asked me once if I had my shirt special made. I told them I got mine like everybody else at Tractor Supply. The Wrangler jeans, Carhartt coats and workwear, Walls coveralls, plus clothes for the whole family. There's just no place that fits my life better than Tractor Supply. Heck, it's even where I go to get socks.
Tractor Supply, for 1 acre or 1,000, will help you get the job done.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up.
These are the songs that took us to a magical place.
The way you wear your hat.
Presenting Somewhere Over the Rainbow, the great songs from the golden age of the Hollywood musicals.
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain.
There's no business like show.
42 unforgettable classics, including this special bonus song.
You must remember this.
Get Somewhere Over the Rainbow on 2 CDs or cassettes.
Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. You better take
This is a limited time offer.
Give me a kiss.
Please call now.
Dwarf Somewhere Over the Rainbow on 2 CDs or 2 cassettes for just $26.99 plus shipping and handling. Call 1-800-306-5300 or send check or money order to the address on your screen.
Congratulations, CNN presents. Now, winner of 4 Emmys for Outstanding Achievement from the Television Academy of Arts and Sciences. CNN presents, taking you on epic journeys, bringing you the unforgettable, showing you the extraordinary. CNN presents the most honored documentary series on television. Saturdays at 8 and Sundays at 7, only on CNN.
Let's meet our panel. In San Francisco, Mark Klass, his 12-year-old daughter Polly, abducted from her home, murdered in 1993. A paroled felon was later convicted of the crime, sentenced to death. He's founder of Klass Kids Foundation, an advocate of child protection and crime victims, and has been in contact with the Van Damme family throughout this trial. In New York is Joe Ellen Demetrius, chairman of Vinson & Demetrius, one of the world's top jury and trial consulting firms. She consulted for the prosecution in the Westerfield trial. Also in New York is Nancy Grace, the anchor for Trial Heat on Court TV and a former prosecutor. And in Los Angeles, Mark Geragos, one of the leading criminal defense attorneys. Mark Klass, you were close to the Van Dammes throughout this. What did you make of that verdict today?
Oh, I thought that they handed down the appropriate verdict. They certainly gave much more consideration to the life of David Westerfield than he ever gave to the life of Danielle Van Dam. And I think that's probably what separates law-abiding citizens from the kind of heinous criminal that Westerfield is. And as Mr. Clark said, you know, in a situation like this, a crime this heinous, you have to go for the ultimate penalty in whatever state you're in, regardless of what that penalty is. And I think the jury did the right thing.
Joe Ellen, you helped select this jury, and both prosecutors said they were one of the hardest working jurors they had. Did you expect that?
Oh, absolutely. And looking at all of these individuals and what their backgrounds were, this was not a group that was going to take a look at this evidence and just go straight in for a verdict. Very clearly, because of any number of things, their experiences, their occupations, it was very clear that they would be, in fact, methodical and analytical, which is one of the things, in fact, that we were looking for.
Anything, Nancy, in this penalty phase surprise you, like this morning when they came back undecided and suddenly were decided?
Yes, that did surprise me. The length of their deliberations surprised me after the brutality of the crime. But you know what, Larry? Throughout it all, I kept having one recurring thought about this jury, and it's an old nursery rhyme. What are little girls made of? Sugar and spice and everything nice. The nature of this victim, the youngest, the sweetest, the most innocent, the weakest type of victim in our society, a little girl, I think that reached this jury, and there was no way, taking a look at this shot, any jury could turn away from this child.
And Mark Geragos, were you surprised at all that he got the death penalty, first time ever involved in anything like this that the court knew about?
So it's interesting because you've got a situation, I'm not the first to say it tonight, but if there's ever a crime that the death penalty is to be imposed for, this is probably it. I mean, nobody is going to dispute that murder is the worst. Murder of a child is the worst of the worst. So you have that on one side, and countervailing force, I suppose, is you have somebody who's got very little of any kind of a record, and he's got some accomplishments in his background. The fact of the matter is that if they had come back hung, it wouldn't have surprised me, but at the same time, just the overwhelming nature of the victim here, and the fact that she's so innocent, and the fact that they're able to show that to the jury and talk about that as an aggravating factor, I think compels most jurors to want to give him death.
In your opinion, was this a rock-solid case?
I don't know that I would call it rock solid. I think that there were significant issues from an evidentiary standpoint, and I think that it was a give and take. I don't think it was open and shut. I think the hardest thing for the defense to get over in this case, and the reason that he was convicted, was because you had to argue too many coincidences. You had to say unlikely plus unlikely plus unlikely plus unlikely equals likely.
Like a duck, like a duck, like a duck.
But it's too much in a case like this.
That is so not true. That is so not true. Mark, how can you say that? Her blood was on the floor of his RV on his clothes. That pretty much sealed it.
Well, the defense had an explanation for that, but when you pile that explanation on with the other explanations, and for the fact that he's taking a sudden trip unexpectedly out to the desert, and when he all of a sudden is being very helpful, when he's doing the dry cleaning and other things, that's what I'm saying about it being unlikely plus unlikely plus unlikely. All those explanations, if you only had to make one, then a jury might say, okay, we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt and find reasonable doubt, but not when you have just a series of coincidences.
Mark Klass, you talked to the Van Dams. Have you talked to them today?
No, I've got a couple of calls into them today. I wanted to see how they were doing and congratulate them. I did speak to Mrs. Van Dam yesterday, and they're just weary. They just wanted this whole thing to be over. I can assure you they won't be popping any champagne corks this evening, because their ordeal is not over yet. But they're now in a place where they'll be able to make their case, and for the first time, as they make their victim impact statements prior to the sentencing, they'll have that gag order lifted, and they'll be able to publicly talk about what this crime meant to them and how it's devastated their life. So I think they're looking forward to that, certainly.
When the man who killed your daughter was convicted and sentenced, did that close it for you?
Oh.
No, it doesn't close it. What these guys do is they dominate your life. Certainly this guy's dominated their life for the better part of this year, and he will continue to dominate their life until after he is sentenced. And then they have the whole process of grieving for their daughter, trying to find joy in their lives, and trying to get over the hump of just living a miserable existence. And I think that they'll be able to do that. I think they have a wonderful support group and a very strong family, but there's no closure. You know, you got to put these guys behind you at some point, and that point is truly after the sentencing, after you've been able to publicly make your case before the judge and the jury.
So, Ellen, is there a chance the judge could give him life? There's a chance, of course, but do you see it?
I think it would be very unlikely that the judge would overturn the decision of a group of jurors who obviously have taken the time and the consideration to go through all the evidence. So I think it would be, you know, I give it 99-1 that he would do that.
The victim impact statement, Nancy, what does that mean?
Well, that's a chance for the victims, the family of Danielle Van Dam, to speak to the judge, to tell their innermost thoughts and feelings, if they can manage to get through that, things that in front of a jury would have been inadmissible because of the rules of evidence. But regarding this judge, Judge Mudd, Larry, about whether he will reverse his jury decision, you know, Larry, when you don't know a horse, look at his track record. This judge has been no nonsense throughout this thing. And I just don't see any way he's going to throw the jury's decision into the can.
What would be a reason to do that, Mark?
The judge has the authority under California law as a 13th juror. Right? He'd have to give some kind of a reason for it. I don't think, absent somebody, and it's extremely rare in California. It's happened a couple of times that I'm aware of. It's usually when a judge has some doubt as to the evidence, or the judge feels like there's been some kind of a prevailing force that entered into the deliberations that shouldn't have been there.
Can Mr. Westerfield speak at that hearing?
Absolutely. In fact, I was thinking Mark Klass went through one of the most horrific experiences during the sentencing. The worst. I mean, because the defendant in that case, he made statements that are beneath contempt about Mark, and it was awful. I mean, I don't know how you get through something like that.
We'll take a break and come back and start to include your phone calls. Here's a statement from one of the jurors.
Tried to sort of fathom what exactly happened in terms of, did he enter the house, did he take her from there, but you know, yeah, when it came down to it, we really just needed to place her in his environment, and we didn't necessarily have to fill in all the gaps of the story.
There must be 50 ways the aero bed saves the day. Like reason 19, you've got the guest room, but no guest bed. Number 3, your guest bed invites your guest to go away. Relax. Just plug in the aero bed, push the button, and you have a comfortable, adjustable, extra bed in less than 1 minute. The new pump is recessed and is 30% more powerful, with quadra-coil construction for a smoother surface. It's even adjustable with our exclusive one-touch comfort control. And it can hold up to 650 pounds. Plus, it stores away in seconds. And now you can get the new and improved Aero bed at the same low price.
Call now to get the Aero bed for just 4 easy payments of only $33. Be one of the first 500 callers and we'll take off a payment. That's just 3 payments of $33.
Plus, get this free carry bag and get our 30-night money-back guarantee. How many ways will you use your Aero bed?
CNN tomorrow on an all-new Crossfire. It's the left versus the right live. District of Columbia or Dole City. Since the Bushes came to town, some say the social scene is dead. Is all work and no play making Washington Dolesville? Tomorrow, 7 Eastern. Prince Harry turns 18, but can he ever shed his wild child image? Plus other royal news on Larry King Live. CNN tomorrow, 9 Eastern.
There's a better way. With in-demand pay-per-view on AT&T Digital Cable, it's hassle-free. Just point, pick, and enjoy the best movies, sports, and events.
Oh, I love this movie. Sad when the dog dies in the end.
In-demand pay-per-view from AT&T Broadband. It's the better way.
Now you have a choice.
AT&T now offers local phone service. Are you going to get it?
This is CNN.
I think the blood on the jacket hat was one of the most significant pieces of evidence in this case.
More statements from one of the jurors in the David Westerfield matter. We're going to include your phone calls for the panel. Still to come, those three young medical students who are on their way to Florida and caused quite a ruckus, didn't they? Lorton, Virginia, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I have a couple of questions. The first one is, because the jury was at one time deadlocked, what are the chances that this will affect the judge's decision? And also, is there any chance that David Westerfield will ever show any remorse or admit guilt? Do any of you ever think that he will because of this?
We'll start with Joe Ellen first on, would that affect the judge, Joe Ellen, do you think, if the jury was hung for a time?
Oh, no, not at all, because very clearly whatever the issue was that was hanging them up, they worked through very quickly, so I don't think that will even enter his mind in terms of any sort of reconsideration.
Nancy, how can he express remorse if he said he didn't do it?
Well, I don't think that he will. And I can guarantee you, though, if I were placing money on it, Westerfield didn't take the stand in the guilt-innocence phase. We didn't see him at the penalty phase. But now, Larry, he could not be subjected to cross-examination. So I would predict he'd get in front of the judge and cry and carry on about his life. But don't worry, you won't hear him showing remorse for 7-year-old Danielle Van Dam.
If he says he didn't do it, he can't show remorse, so what kind of appeal does
Larry,
he
he
have?
could still be sorry. I watched him during the trial every day over at Court TV, and when they had those shots of her little body, which was thrown to the side of the road, nude, decayed, he never even blinked an eye. Nah, he'll show no remorse. He could at least be sorry she's dead, Larry.
Mark? How does he handle this? Let's say
I don't think
he says on appeal he didn't do it.
Well, that's been his. It's what's called a reasonable doubt defense. It wasn't him. It wasn't that he was saying I was mentally ill or something else. My guess is Nancy wants to bet that he's going to get up there and talk. My bet is that he's not going to say anything. He's going to have his lawyers do the talking. There isn't much of a shot. I think Joe Ellen predicted 99-1. I'd make it more about 1,000-1. Against this judge throwing out this verdict.
So it don't matter if he spoke or not.
It doesn't matter one whit. He's going to just take it up on appeal. He gets an automatic appeal to the California Supreme Court, and he's not going to do anything that's going to. He's not going to embrace his guilt at this point.
Longview, Texas. Hello.
Hi.
Go ahead.
I've got a question. I'm wondering why that he's going to be sentenced for execution when the state of California hasn't killed anybody probably in more than 20 years. He's going to live his life in prison.
Mark Plass, is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, since 1977, only 10 individuals have been executed in California. It may be 11, but there are over 600 men waiting on death row right now. So we have to be very clear of what's going on here. This guy's never going to be executed, but he will lead a miserable life. And society has handed down the sentence that he deserves. In fact, if they had done anything less, Larry, I think it would have diminished the life of Danielle Van Dam.
Why so few executions, Mark?
Because of the appellate process.
But other
First
states,
of all,
Texas has it, and they execute one a week.
They've got a more liberal, if you will, ability to kind of run people through. Here in California, there's the defense lawyers, or the defense bar, if you will, has taken kind of a stand that they're just not going to take a lot of these cases and not going to take them on the appellate. There aren't enough appellate lawyers to handle it. There's a backlog in terms of the number of lawyers who will do it, or even willing to handle these cases.
Although, Joe Ellen, we shouldn't be quick to kill, should we? I mean, he's not running away.
Oh, no, and I don't think these jurors were quick at all to make that decision. 3 days plus in coming to that conclusion. You know, it's one thing in theory to talk about whether or not we believe in the death penalty, but when these jurors knew that they'd have to look across that room and look into Mr. Westerfield's eyes and say yes, you know, they took their time and they did what they needed to do.
Clovis, California, hello.
Hello.
Hi. Go ahead.
I want to know who the holdout was. I think it was the first juror, not the second one.
Do we know, Nancy Grace, you watch this trial all the time, do we know what juror was holding out?
No, we don't, but we do know that this trial was so stressful on one juror, and this is the word, Larry, this juror hasn't come out and said this, that it ended up putting one juror in the hospital because of the stress. It would be my guess, if they were that stressed out over this deliberation, that would be the holdout.
It was interesting if it was, because I think that juror was the one that Mr. Dusek, the prosecutor, asked the judge not to excuse and to let that juror stay on because of what Mr. Dusek said was an incredible determination and amount of effort that juror had put into this case.
You've handled capital cases. There's got to be a lot of stress on a jury.
It's an incredible amount of stress. Anytime you have not just capital cases, but any kind of a serious case, especially now in California where there's so many cases that have what are called a life top, where the decision means the person is facing life in prison, it's extremely, extremely stressful. I mean, I had a jury that came back today hung 8-4 and could not reach a decision, talked to the jurors afterwards, and they were emotionally wrung out. I mean, they really were.
8-4 for conviction.
8-4 for conviction today.
We'll come right back with more of our panel, more of your phone calls, then our 3 medical students, and then the lawyer for the lady who made the charges. Don't go away.
We, the jury in the above entitled cause, determine that the penalty shall be death. Dated September 16, 2002. Signed juror number 10, foreperson. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, was this and is this your verdict as read?
Yes. Hi, Billy Mays here for the Gopher, the handy helper that reaches so you don't have to. Use it for reaching up high or for picking up down low. In the laundry room, it's the best. It'll get that odd sock in that impossible to reach area. Any object, big or small, it grabs, fits, and lifts them all. If you can't get to it, then the Gopher's great. Grip and lift in one easy motion. With just one finger, the Gopher locks on so you can pick up, take out, and put back without any effort. The secret's the suction action, combined with the easy locking handle that gives you the power to reach without stretching or bending. Under the bed or under the sink, just squeeze and retrieve with one simple step. It picks up what you don't want to touch and is much safer than a stool or a chair. Use it outside in the yard. It takes the bending and reaching out of your daily chores. Whether you're small or tall, the Gopher has the power to pick up and reach it all. It's precise enough to pick up this paper clip, yet strong enough to hold this 5-pound bag of sugar. If you own a car, truck, boat, or RV, it's the perfect companion. When something's out of reach, just go for it. Similar products sell for as much as $35. Call now and you'll get the Gopher for only $19.99. But as part of this special offer, we'll upgrade your Gopher to the deluxe folding unit absolutely free. It folds for easy storage and still has the power to pick up like a pro. But call in the next 5 minutes and we'll double the value. We'll include a second deluxe Gopher absolutely free. That means you get 2 deluxe Gophers, a whopping $70 value, all for just $19.99. But you gotta call now. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-699-9955 to order the Gopher for $19.99. When you call, you'll get upgraded to the deluxe folding unit and get a second deluxe Gopher free with your paid order. You must be 18 or older to call. Call 1-800-699-9955.
John Smoltz, a new role, same result. Game over. He's the one guy the Phillies don't want to see as he closes in on the Major League record for saves. Phillies Braves, 7:30 Eastern tomorrow on TBS Superstation.
The girls did it.
We're the Playboy Women of Enron.
Now it's the boys' turn. The men of Enron expose a little more than their assets for Playgirl. Connie gets the inside story and reveals it all. CNN tomorrow, 8 Eastern.
The stories that affect you can happen anywhere.
For the latest news from Washington and around the world.
Wolf Blitzer reports weekdays 5 Eastern on CNN.
Take another call, Riverside, California. Hello.
Hi, Larry.
Hi.
Hi, Nancy Grace. I just first off want to say that we absolutely love you. Can you hear me, Larry?
Yep, go ahead.
My first question is, what is the purpose in polling the jury, and can they change their mind once they have given their verdict? My second question is, when and will David Westerfield speak, and will he plead for mercy?
Well, we've already discussed that, and there's a mixture of opinion. He can't plead for mercy since he says he didn't do it. But what about polling, Nancy?
Well, that's a scary thing, and the reason they poll the jurors is usually at the loser's request. Whoever loses wants the jury polled, because if one juror cracks during that polling process, the verdict is no good because it's got to be a unanimous verdict. And after the polling went down to the caller, you're absolutely correct. One of the jurors did break down in tears, and they had to take a quick recess. When you have to speak out individually in the courtroom and say, yes, it's my verdict to send him to death, that's very stressful.
Did you ever have someone say no?
I've had jurors who have gone out, said that I've asked that they be polled, and I've had 1 and 2 say no, and then they send them back in. So.
Gadsden, Alabama, hello.
Hi, Larry.
Hi.
And all of the panel. I respect everyone on the panel. My question is for Nancy. Nancy, I love you, and I hang with you every day. I love your show. First off, how long will DW have to stay on death row? And second off, I have a comment. I felt it inappropriate, the humor that was in the courtroom.
Well, yeah. He could be there for, as you heard Mark Class say earlier, there are people that have been there for 15, 16 years, and their cases have gone nowhere. So it's, you know, it's a crapshoot how long he'll wait to get the death penalty. And as far as the humor, I just want to say one thing. I know it sounds bad in the courtroom, but I think Mark Geragos will back me up on this. When you deal with death and child molestation and you look at these victims' dead bodies day in, day out, you deal with the family, every once in a while, you know, somebody lightens the mood in there. And I think that's what Judge Mudd was doing.
If you didn't in one of these cases, you would go crazy. I mean, you know, as a trial lawyer, as a trial judge, when you're in there, I used to say every single one of these trials, I feel like I've lost 8 months of my life or a year of my life in terms of the stress. And I'm sure Nancy felt the same way.
For the benefit of the call, there was a lot of humor in concentration camps. It's a release of some kind.
Larry, sometimes I would leave the courtroom after a case like this and just cry the whole way home in my car, and then maybe joke about something that happened in the courtroom. It's just your emotions are so on edge.
Yeah. Chesapeake, Virginia,
Larry?
hello. Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mark.
Even from my side of it, one has to find humor sometimes because the stress is so overwhelming and sometimes the pain is so overwhelming that just a little bit of laughter is the only escape that really exists.
Chesapeake, Virginia, hello.
Good evening, Mark Geragos. Now that the sentence has been handed down and it's death, won't Mr. Westerfield's quality and duration of life be better and longer?
Yeah, because it's a death penalty. It's an argument that I think speaks volumes as to having a death penalty or not.
Better than being life.
It's absolutely.
Why?
He's got a better situation in a death penalty once he's been given death than if he's got life without.
Why?
Life without, they usually will put you, I mean, in some cases, into a general population. You're in what usually the most horrid conditions, either Pelican Bay here in California or some other godforsaken place, whereas you usually will have a roommate or roommates, and you know where that leads you. If you're on death row, generally you're sequestered, you are there and you're given all kinds of privileges, depending on how long it is before somebody gets assigned to you in terms of your appellate advocate, you may end up getting additional privileges. So in a lot of ways, that's why you so often see here in California, guys who get convicted firing their lawyers at the penalty phase and challenging the jury to give them death.
Thank you all very much. We'll be seeing a lot of you. Quickly, Mark, quick.
Well, I interviewed a death penalty a client once called Joseph Paul Franklin, who was a serial killer, a racist serial killer, who was initially convicted of killing 2 black guys in Salt Lake City, put in a general population. Black gangs almost killed him. He then copped to all the crimes he had committed so he could get on death row and extend his life. It's a sad irony of the death penalty.
Mark Class, Joe Allen Demetrius, Nancy Grace, and Mark Geragos, thank you so much. When we come back, our 3 young medical students detained by authorities in Florida after a woman in Georgia reported she overheard them mocking 9/11. They're with us exclusively next. Don't go away.
Tired of playing the mortgage rate game? You know, when you hear one of those ads that promise you the moon and you call up only to find out that the points are too high and there are hidden fees attached? Well, at Ditech.com, there are no games. Right now, we're offering a second mortgage with a no closing cost option. You can be pre-qualified over the telephone or online. Use the money to pay off credit cards or for home improvements, whatever you want. Do it now before the rates go up. Ditech.com. Call 1-800-71-FIXED.
Diagnosis: cancer.
I was given a 1% chance of survival. That pretty much stamps out any hope.
Pack it up, write your will, take your last vacation.
I broke down for about 15 minutes. I just couldn't stop crying.
And then I would find a commercial for Cancer Treatment Centers of America, and my life changed.
There's always hope, that there's no cancer that hasn't been survived by someone.
It is never too late. As long as we're breathing, it's not too late to seek another opinion.
I cannot imagine raising my son without him. And if we had not gone to the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, I really don't think that we would have him here today.
With world-class medical technologies and innovative complementary therapies, Cancer Treatment Centers of America have treatment options you may not even know exist. You can call our cancer information specialists 24 hours a day to learn about your options. Please call.
They give you a new lease on life. It's worth everything.
While you're watching them, ever wanted to know what she's looking at? And what's happening back here? And where does this map come from? Well, quit wondering and come visit the world's news leader, CNN. We'll take you beyond the headlines and behind the scenes to show you what it takes to bring the world to your television every single day. You've never seen anything quite like this before. And when you're done, stop by the Turner store for a souvenir or a special video starring you. So what are you waiting for? Step inside the CNN Studio Tour, where you're in the news.
One waged a war against freedom, the other fought for creative liberty, and in 1940, they met in a battle for the hearts and minds of the world. TCN presents the story of Charlie Chaplin, Adolf Hitler, and the film that laughed in the face of fascism, with the world premiere documentary, The Tramp and the Dictator, narrated by Kenneth Branagh, Tuesday, October 1st, followed by The Great Dictator, only on Turner Classic Movies.
He's the one name who means business when you need to know how it all adds up. Lou Dobbs Moneyline, weekdays 6 Eastern on CNN.
We now welcome to Larry King Live, Amen Gaith, Kambiz Butt, and Omer Shadri. All three are medical students who were detained by authorities in Florida over the weekend. We all know about that, the scene that occurred. The CEO of the Miami hospital where the students were supposed to continue their medical training said today the hospital feels it's not a good time to start them in rotation at Larkin Hospital. Each had completed 2 years. This incident occurred late last week, by the way, not over the weekend. All right, Amos, but you're all Muslims. You're all United States citizens. You're going to, what, third year of medical school?
Yes.
What happened?
Well, we were driving down from Chicago. We had stopped at a couple of restaurants and stuff on the way, got something to eat. And as far as I understand it, we at the Shoney's in question here, somebody had called in and said that we were saying something, like making fun of something.
The woman, Eunice Stone, did you remember her? Did you see her?
When I saw her, after everything was said and done, and I saw the TV and I saw her, I recognized her, yes. But when at the end, because the only time we ever found out, while all this was happening, we were in the car. I found out about an hour before we were let go what the situation was, what was going on.
You didn't know anything?
No, I mean...
Kambiz, did you remember the woman?
Only after watching her on TV.
Right. And did you sit near her in the restaurant? Well, how do you remember her? Where was she?
She was right across from us on the other booth, on the other side.
Did you remember her from dining there? And did you talk about her while you were eating there? Did she come up in conversation?
Not at all.
Not at all.
What do you remember about her, Omar?
When I saw her after we were released, I saw her on TV. I remember where she was sitting, just in the next booth, but I didn't really remember anything about what she said.
Well, you see, the thing is, there was many people. I mean, it wasn't just them. The booth right behind us had people. The booth behind her
was crowded.
Yeah, it was plenty of people there.
Let's hear on tape when she first made this report via a radio what Eunice had to say. Listen.
They said they had attended a party in Chicago the night before and that they needed to quit stopping because they were 5 hours late. And then I just naturally, my curiosity, I just kept listening, and something else was said. They were kind of huddled together there over the booth talking, and then one guy said, "Do you think that will bring it down?" And I looked at my son, and we were just looking at each other, and he said, "Well, if that don't bring it down, I have contacts. I'll get enough to bring it down. And to me, that meant they were planning to blow up something.
She invent all that, Cambies?
She sure did.
Nothing, no joking, no kidding about blowing up something?
Well,
go ahead.
Well, as far as the whole comment about bringing it down, it was in reference to Omar bringing a car down from Kansas City.
I was the only one of us three who didn't buy a car before the semester started in Miami. So my plan was that once we get to Miami, I would buy a car before classes started. And I said that in case I don't find one in Miami, I can have one shipped down from Kansas City.
Any mention of 9/11, Eamon?
Never.
Never mentioned that?
Never. Not once. Not September, not 9, not 11, not 13, nothing. We never ever said
about
anything.
Bombs? Anything
Never.
about 9/13 being worse than 9/11?
Larry, we were driving down. We were very excited because we had just finished school, the book portion of medical school. This is going to be our first time in a hospital. And we were very nervous. We wanted to get everything out of the way, get all matters squared away. We had to find apartments. We had to find a car for Umar. I had to find a daycare center for my sister's son, who's coming down, which is why we were behind schedule, actually. So
to you, it's impossible that she misunderstood what you were saying, other than for the bringing the car down.
Well, to me, I think as soon as we walked into the restaurant, unfortunately, can I make one quick thing? I first want to say that we heard that she's in the hospital, and we feel very bad. I hope she feels okay, and speedy recovery, hopefully. I have no animosity towards this woman. I just pray that God opens her eyes. But what had happened was that as soon as we walked into this restaurant, we were suspects. Okay.
By whom?
Now, obviously by this woman.
But you didn't know that then?
No, I didn't. This is what I'm assuming.
This is
as soon as
after the fact.
Yeah, after all everything.
When you were sitting there, did you feel uncomfortable?
Not at all.
No. Well, we're accustomed to the level of comfort that we feel when we enter a restaurant. It becomes common practice now. As soon as you walk in, everybody will look.
Since 9/11, you are profiled.
Yeah, and we walk in anywhere, and things stop. Everybody turns and looks. We've come to live with it. We've come to accept it because it's so common. It happens everywhere. But
we do little things like, for instance, we'll raise our voice in a conversation just to show people around us that we can speak English. Because most people, off the bat, right away, they assume that you can't speak English.
How do you feel about the hospital now declining to give you your time in preparation for law school, to continue with your schooling?
It's very hard to swallow because we're coming down to pursue our medical education, and then because of a comment made by one woman, our whole life is being affected, and it's very saddening, and it's very frustrating because we want to pursue our medical careers, and yet because of one comment, we can't.
Is the hospital right or wrong?
The hospital. It's a tough thing to say, right or wrong. What I say is I understand their decision. If I had family in this hospital, they're looking out for the best interests of their patients.
Do they think patients would be scared of the three of you working in the hospital?
Well, I don't think it's an issue of them being scared. I think what it is that the hospital's been getting threats. I think it's wrong that policy is delegated based on threatening.
But
people.
you understand them?
But I do, in this situation, I do understand.
Omar, do you?
I understand that their position, their decision that they can't take us right now, but at the same time, they've shown us their support. They've told us, and also school, we've gotten a lot of support from faculty, friends, even the.
Are you going to go to another medical school?
No.
You're going to wait till you get in?
We are in good standings with the school.
We're
registered.
With school.
Let me get a break. I want to hear one more portion of a tape by Mrs. Stone. Listen.
We were seated directly across. There's only like a piece of lattice work between the booths, and we were seated right next to three men that appeared to be of Middle Eastern descent. And at first, I just went ahead with my breakfast, but then they were sitting there and they were laughing, and they were laughing about Americans mourning September the 11th. And I have very good hearing. And then they were saying, if they mourn September 11th, what will they think about September the 13th?
And of course, you're denying ever saying anything.
Well, I mean, the thing that hurts me the most after we were let go, okay, after everything was said and done, they put us in the cars, and then we got a chance to see what the media what hurt me the most was that the argument was whether they said it as a hoax or whether they said it meaningfully, where nobody considered even that we didn't even say it. I mean, throughout the media, everybody, it was a given thing that we had already said it.
Why did you jump the toll booth?
Actually, that's the funny thing is I didn't. I slowed into the toll booth. Omar actually had to take out $1. I had 50 cents on me. The toll was $1.50. Got the money. We gave it to the lady. I noticed that she was very nervous when I was giving her the money. She looked like, she just didn't look right.
She didn't look confident.
Yeah, and then I also noticed there was a squad car at the toll booth, almost waiting for somebody, so I guess it was me.
Is that the one that stopped you?
Yes, that first car.
We're going to take a break, come back, talk to Miss Stone's lawyer, and then return with our gentlemen. They'll remain with us. Don't go away.
First off, I would like to say that I didn't do any of this for any kind of publicity. I did it as an American.
Beginning CNN Wednesday, from fighter pilot to commander-in-chief, now Paula Zahn joins former President George Bush on a dramatic journey. Hear his emotional stories of survival and leadership. An exclusive 3-part series on American Morning with Paula Zahn, 7 a.m. Eastern.
A nightly look at the day's news.
Or a different way of looking at the story.
Newsnight with Aaron Brown. Weeknights 10 Eastern on CNN.
All Mattress World stores are celebrating the grand opening of our 2 new stores.
Tannisbourne, 185th and Cornell, just south of the Nordstrom Rack.
And Northeast 122nd and Gleason and Menlo Park behind Walgreens.
Hurry in and get our no-interest financing for 1 full year. Mattress World's hard-to-find locations will save you money.
It's not too late to sleep like a baby. Mattress World.
If we can't beat any price on any comparable mattress, then the mattress is free.
AT&T Broadband brings you the best television has to offer every month.
I'm Tom Foreman.
And I'm Laura Green. Join us for National Geographic Today.
A daily journal exploring the world and all its wonder.
Experience a unique destination for news about adventure, nature, science, and culture. National Geographic Today, weeknights at 7 on the new National Geographic Channel.
Every month, look for the best television has to offer on AT&T Broadband.
AT&T Broadband.
For kids.
The big noggins that make noggin. Big noggin number 1. Nickelodeon. Big noggin number 2. Sesame Workshop. Big noggin number 3. Kids. Kids are the biggest big noggin behind noggin because noggin is the first 24-hour thinking network totally sparked by kids.
Upgrade to digital cable from AT&T Broadband for a world of fun for kids on Noggin.
International Community School, a program of Ecumenical Ministries of Oregon, is a small nonprofit alternative high school.
Hey, come here.
We support marginalized immigrant and refugee students in receiving diplomas by limiting class sizes to 15, emphasizing language skills, and providing a safe, respectful environment.
Everybody knows each other. It's so small, compact with nothing but love and diversity.
If it wasn't for pigs, I wouldn't be in school right now.
Remember, it takes a village to raise a child.
This is CNN. This is CNN.
Joining us for some moments from Atlanta is Michael Prieto, the attorney for Eunice Stone. How is she doing? I know she went to the hospital today, Michael.
Well, she's doing much better right now, Larry. She's been released from Emory Medical Center, and she's home resting under doctor's care still.
What was it?
Well, actually, it was stress-related. We thought at the beginning of the day, or last night actually, that she was suffering some severe chest pains, and so she sought treatment at Emory Medical Center, and the doctors ran a battery of diagnostic tests, and they have determined that it was stress-induced.
What do you make of what our young boys have said? The young medical students here who apparently are going to have to go to another hospital now in the same tract as the one in Miami, but just not in that city.
Well, unfortunately, I think that they have failed to do the most important thing, and that is take responsibility for their actions. Ms. Stone had absolutely no reason whatsoever to fabricate any story or to think ill of them in any manner whatsoever. Unfortunately, the one thing that they didn't realize is that Miss Stone actually has a multicultural family. She has members of her family who are Middle Eastern. She has actually hosted exchange students who are Middle Eastern. She has absolutely no reason whatsoever to fabricate a story about them based solely upon their appearance.
But if they're saying they didn't say those things, could she have misread from another booth what they were saying? Could she have read it wrong?
Well, Larry, I don't know if you've ever been to a Shoney's restaurant, but they were back to back, and she was seated the next booth over. There's a small glass between them, and she could hear distinct aspects of their conversation. Now, there are certain things that she wasn't sure of, but the laughing about September 11th and the mention of September 13th, there was no mistake whatsoever. She heard those. I mean, you have to consider the fact that we as a country on that day were at a code orange alert. And so Homeland Security is something that after 9/11 everyone should be taking very seriously. She did take that seriously. You know, whether these medical students were stating this or to have fun with the crowd or because people were staring at them or for whatever reason, she did take it serious and she did the appropriate thing. She did exactly what we would ask all of our citizens to do, and to date she's been penalized for it.
So you're not saying, Michael, that you think these three are terrorists, but you think they may have acted in a way as to give her the presumption that something was fishy?
Absolutely. I don't have any reason to believe that they are in fact terrorists. However, I do believe that they said exactly what Miss Stone said that they did, and I believe that at this point they're just trying to cover their own actions, and they're failing to take responsibility for what they did. I think they would be better served to say, look, we said that because people were staring at us or because we felt uncomfortable and we did it for shock value, but at least take responsibility instead of accusing her of being a bigot.
Thank you, Michael. Michael Prieto will be hearing more from you in subsequent days. How about that, Eamon?
Well, I mean...
She didn't invent it. You guys may have been kidding around for whatever reason, and now it looks funny, so you're in denial, and it's he said, she said.
Well, I mean, the thing is, if you knew us, like, I'll tell you, every one of my friends, you'd be surprised how many, and I wanted to thank a lot of people actually for their support, and through this it's been a trying time for us.
You completely deny what she said.
Well, you know what, every single one of my friends, or anybody that I was ever acquainted with, when they called me, the first thing they said, unanimously, out of their mouth is, we knew for a fact you never said that, because you're not that, that's not the way you are. That's
but
not
as
the way
it
you are.
turns out, according to Michael, she's not a bigot either.
Well, sir, she also said that she heard us speaking in Arabic and in English, and she said that I have very good hearing. Now, there's a problem with that because I'm the only one that speaks Arabic.
Yeah, we're of Pakistani descent.
They don't speak Arabic
so
at
we
all.
don't even understand or speak Arabic.
So how does that work into her? How well she heard?
So then what? All right, he's reading into you that you're not fessing up now because it looks bad for you. What are you, Omar, reading into her?
I think that I don't know what to say. She said that she heard these things, and we just know that we didn't say them. There's no way. And then the other thing, like Eamon was saying about us speaking Arabic, we don't speak Arabic.
So while you were kept on the road here, and you're not being told why you're being kept, what did they say to you? What did law enforcement say to you?
Well, I was in the back of the squad car. I kept asking the deputy sheriff, why am I being detained? Over and over again. I would keep asking him.
What did he say?
He would basically just say that I don't have the authority to tell you. The situation you're in right now is higher than him. But, you know, other than that...
Did you know they were going through your car and everything?
Well, actually, they never... I said, please don't search my car. And the reason is because it took my mom a long time to pack everything just right. And I have a lot of stuff that are of value to me. My medical equipment was in my car. My books were in my car. All of my clothing...
Did they restore it?
Well, everything was placed back into the car. To tell the truth, I under their circumstances, if I put to place myself in one of these police officers' shoes, and I heard that somebody's coming down with a bomb or something like that, even if I was off duty, I would volunteer to go out on the streets to protect my country.
Yeah, we don't want to, we don't want to badmouth the police. I mean, they treated us very professional under the circumstances.
Were they kind to you, Omar?
They were fair in their treatment with us. They didn't treat us badly.
What did you think of 9/11?
What did I think? Honestly, I think it's the biggest tragedy. You can ask me how many Muslims died in 9/11. I'll tell you I don't know. But I know that about 2,900 human beings died. We value human life, and this is why we chose to become doctors, to protect and preserve humanity.
So you
As
are
Muslims.
Americans and felt American that day.
Yeah. Of course, we
As
still
every
feel.
day,
We still.
like every day.
You know, the funniest thing is, one of these guys asked me. And I told him, you know what, not only did I mourn 9/11, I have friends that were directly affected by 9/11. This is why it hurts so much to hear on media and on other outlets that we said these kind of hurtful things. I have friends that had family members that were in the building.
As a matter of fact, there was a student's father that was in our class that was in the building at the time of the attack.
And in our school, we organized a vigil for
Are you
that.
planning any lawsuits at all involved?
Absolutely not.
No, we're not planning.
We just want
We're
to clear our
here
name.
to make it clear to the public that we want our dignity back. That's all.
And you
That's all we're
expect to go
asking
to
for.
another medical school?
No.
That's no.
Not another
Stay in
medical
our
school.
medical school now, but we're just working with faculty who's supporting us, and
So it may not be in Miami.
Well, we don't
know where it'll be
where
yet,
it'll be.
but they are working on a schedule for us. We are
You guys
registered.
want to be specialists?
Yes.
What?
I want to be in an emergency care medicine.
Cardiology.
I'm thinking like radiation oncology, maybe.
Thank you all very much. Eamon Gaith, Camby's Butt, and Omer Chaudhry, and the attorney with us as well, Michael Prieto. We'll come back and tell you about tomorrow night right after this.
Is this how you trim your lawn? Or is this your method? Why hassle with trimmer spools that tangle, jam, and never work? Make your life easier with the Weed Thrasher, the revolutionary new system specifically designed for your gas-powered trimmer. With the Weed Thrasher's monster cutters, you can trim around rocks, right next to sidewalks, and even up against fences. Ordinary trimmer spools jam. The nylon twine wears down to nubs in no time. And that tangled line is a frustrating hassle. Or worse yet, those expensive plastic cutting blades can break and shatter. But Weed Thrasher's monster cutters are 10 times thicker than ordinary trimming lines. They can't tangle. They're tougher. They last a lot longer. And replacement is a snap.
I don't need to hassle with frustrating tangled lines anymore now that I installed the Weed Thrasher head. This is the best ever.
We guarantee Weed Thrasher will easily mount onto your gas-powered trimmer or your money back. And installing the monster cutters is a snap. Worn down nubs? Give them a thrashing. Tangled spools? Give them a thrashing.
This is easy. It cuts great, and it saves me all that aggravation. It's a snap.
Now, through this special TV offer, you'll get the Weed Thrasher head and 12 tough monster cutters for only $19.99. But wait. When you order your Weed Thrasher in the next 10 minutes, we'll give you a lifetime supply of monster cutters free. Call us anytime and we'll send you more monster cutters. All you pay is the shipping and handling. That's right, a lifetime supply of monster cutters free. So don't delay. Order your Weed Thrasher and your free lifetime supply of monster cutters now.
Make your life easier with the Weed Thrasher. Call 1-800-306-5300. That's 1-800-306-5300. Or send a check or money order to the address on your screen. So call 1-800-306-5300. That number again, 1-800-306-5300.
Every weekday, the drama gets a little mysterious on TNT. At 4, watch The Pretender. At 5, see The Charmed Ones. And at 6, The X-Files. It all starts Tuesday, October 1st, only on TNT.
You decided. No one else has it. Not Fox News, not MSNBC. In a respected survey,